answer even if you're not, like if you're a slow reader, like many are, don't be ashamed of that. Even some authors are slow readers. Got really cool drawings. Like in this cool style, very, like really cool. I wanted to talk about writing today. Because, I sort of talked about this a little bit in the art thing, where everyone has like these rules and stuff. This dude doesn't give a fuck about rules. I think, I don't know, he probably has some personal ones. Actually, that's not true, he does have some personal ones. Like he writes, I think he writes like 1,000 words a day, like that's his quota. And I think that's you do you, but I thought like that's a manageable thing. And that's doable. But sometimes, it's fine if, like J.K. Rowling, for example, said like it's totally fine to have like a day where you just think and take a couple of notes and that's it. That to me is true. Like that's also writing. You're involved with the thing. As long as you do that, I think you're good. But you have to like sort of get something out, and I think that's where this tip comes in handy. Just write a certain, it doesn't have to be a certain amount, but maybe just something, But yeah, it's okay if it's notes or maybe a drawing. But yeah, writing is sort of a magical thing, I think. Language in general, it can do so much. Like the way we use language is sort of like we really, if you think about it, I think we really build reality with language. Like we sort of, I think I read an article as a scientific paper, or an article about a scientific paper, about they tested, like they could prove that, I hope I get this right, oh my god, I'm sorry if I bump into this thing, but they could prove that reality to us is always in, what was the word, like, it's not, we don't see the whole thing, it's like an amalgamation, is that the right word? No, like an interpretation. It's an interpretation of the thing, and that gets us to the next interpretation. And this is where language comes into play. Like, what are words if you think about it? Where did this start? It's kind of amazing if you think about it. Like, who was the first monkey that made a sound to something and got the ball rolling, and the other's like, oh, that's brilliant. Like, we don't have to, like, he just said, I don't know, ooga booga to the stone, and now the stone, like, everyone said ooga booga to this, and then, oh my god, that's brilliant. We have to do this word for everything. and then it went on from there, and I have to say, it got a bit out of hand, I think. We kind of lost touch to some words, I think, and we have, in a way, like, a lot of words mean the same thing or are very close together, and stuff gets muddled up a bit. But yeah, that's why I think that's why I resonate to writing so much. Not just writing, I do other stuff as well. Like this. I think this is a sort of art as well. Speech, of course, and rambling. I don't know. I think that's it's weirdly healthy for me. Like, I'm doing a lot better because I get stuff out. I don't know. And I couldn't, like, this thing is sort of like, you can do this only in this form, like, it's a weird space. Like, I can't, if I do this in a friend circle, like, everyone slowly leaves, they don't want to listen to this. But this is different, This is like, I like listening to these rambles myself, or ASMR in general, and yeah, it like different forms of art or magic, whatever you want to call it. I think it's the same, or very similar, or it's the same, or I don't know. I'm still thinking about that, but yeah, it's really interesting how this evolves, isn't it? And yeah, that's probably my problem with that, was that I often tried to like get friends into a certain subject so I could ramble about it because I really enjoy it. And sometimes it would happen, like if it just clicks and the person you meet is totally into the same stuff, but most of the time it just don't. It's it's understandable. I had the opposite happen where I felt like, oh, he really wants me to get into cars, so I could talk about him about cars, and it just wouldn't stop. And I don't care about cars at all. Like, if I one day buy a car, I'd just buy I just, okay, which one is safe? I just want a tank. I don't want to get run over by an idiot. Can I please, have a safe car like a tank, basically? And maybe in dark blue. Yeah, thank you. I'll buy that. I don't care about the other stuff. But then it's, but it's okay. Everyone has his sort of, angle on reality, I guess. And this is where this writing comes in again, because it's so freeing to just get your thoughts out, or the first step is on paper, and that alone is very free. And then the sharing part, like if you get this, basically like a real, like I have, what is this? I have in my hand now a world, basically, and people are in there, and emotions and feelings from the head or the unconscious mind, or there are so many words for that. We don't even know what we're talking about really when we like, how does this, where are these ideas, where did these ideas really came from? I don't know. I don't think it was just especially because the author talks about this process, like he just starts to write and then somehow gets to the next scene and somehow to the next. I think that's a process that's very enjoyable to me as well, but you sort of give up the ego part of yourself. You don't really, it's a mix. You get into the groove, when you start to think consciously about it, but most of it like really comes like out of like you're surprised yourself where the story goes. I think that's fascinating. So yeah, it's really magical, and yeah, that's what I mean when we don't have the words for something. Often in creative writing, you get to a certain point through like things like, or fantasy, for example. He said a cool thing about fantasy where, yeah, maybe all of these things don't exist. Like, of course, I know in the real world, I've never seen a fairy, I've never seen a ghost. Some people, I'm not. If you saw a ghost, I'm not saying you're crazy. Like, this world is crazy. I don't know what. Maybe they are ghosts, but whatever. I've never seen it, and he didn't, but still, there's a through these things, through these whatever you wanna call it, you grasp something true, as if we're trying, like there's our knowledge, and you know what? I think I'm gonna make this visible. So, oh, okay. I just drew this. This. Okay. This is the known. This is everything we know. And these things going from out of it, it's like these stories or these, it's like we feel our way into the unknown. We can't logically proceed into the unknown. We can be on the firmest ground possible with sort of like the scientific process and all of that, but there's something missing in it. Well, you couldn't at all leave the known without some sense of the, just a feeling. And I think this fantasy stuff is right. Is that basically like when we talk about ghosts or angels or whatever it is? It's like, yeah, there's something, but we are kind of grasping. We're kind of, what is it? What is it? Our angel, is it the same? Is it what? You know what I mean? As soon as you try to cement that, you slip away, and I guess that's sort of the danger in going out into the unknown is going insane. Like I really think that's the, and you there's a reason why there's a trope like the crazy magician or whatever. It's sort of, yeah, you can lose yourself in that. So you gotta have both, like a grounding, but also I think it's healthy to have, or if you're into it, to have sort of like an elevated language for the stuff that you just feel. And this is where these, where writing comes into play, and all, yeah, at least for me. So yeah, recommended. It also gets you into the Christmas vibes, and I'm very into the Christmas vibes, and that's, we're gonna talk about that in the next one. Oh, well, it's a bit short. I don't know. It felt right to end it here. Let's end it here. Wait, it doesn't have to be exactly 50 minutes. What is this? It's a bit shorter. Let's talk about the Christmas vibes in the next one. And if I, remember something about writing, I can